Hello and welcome to the Architecture Knowledge Center. Today we are going to discuss about horizontal and vertical transportation system in architecture. We are going to go far beyond corridors and lifts into design standards, mechanical systems, code compliances and performance calculations that you will see in real practice and in the GATE architecture exam. Circulation means planned paths for people to move efficiently and safely. When it comes to circulation inside the buildings, there are two categories: horizontal circulation and vertical circulation. Under horizontal circulation, we are having corridors, lobbies, moving walkways, and sky bridges. When it comes to vertical circulation, that are stairs, staircase, ramps, lifts, and escalators. Good circulation design influences the flow rate, travel time, comfort, and mainly emergency evacuation performance. Now we are going to see flow rate. Flow rate means number of persons passing a reference point per unit time. Commonly it is persons per minute per meter of a particular width. So it is given by the formula Q equal to N by T, where Q is flow rate, N is number of persons passing a point, T is time in minutes. The typical capacity is 20 to 30 per person per minute per meter for normal walking, up to 40 for evacuation flows. Corridors. As per NBC 2016, minimum width of the corridor. Here we are going to refer only the minimum width. All the standards gives only the minimum values. Okay. For residents it is 1 meter minimum. For public buildings it is 1.5 to 2 meters minimum. Maximum travel distance to the exit is 30 meters without sprinklers. If the building has sprinkler systems, then it is 45 meters. We'll see a simple workout on corridor flow calculation. Here the given is 2-meter wide corridor is designed for evacuation. Assume 35 person per minute per meter capacity. Find the evacuation capacity in 2 minutes. Okay. So now pass here and try to solve it. Try to find the value. The formula is Q total equal to width into flow rate capacity into time. Here the width given is 2 meter, 2.0 meter into flow rate capacity given is 35, time is 2 minutes, which is equal to 140. I repeat, total flow, that is Q total equal to width of the corridor into flow rate capacity into time. That is, as per the given thing, it is width of the corridor is 2 meter and capacity is 35 and time is 2. So we are getting 140 persons. So it tells us how many people can pass a reference cross section per minute for every meter of corridor width. In this corridor flow calculation, we are looking only at the reference cross section per minute for every meter. So it is for a unit meter. If we want to find the total evacuation time for the whole building, then both travel time and flow time comes into consideration. Travel time is length of the corridor till the exit divided by the walking speed of the person. Flow time is how quickly people can pass through the exit width. For long corridors, add travel time before the choke point. The whole building evacuation we'll see in detail during our fire safety class. Okay, so next, moving walkways. It is otherwise called as travelators or autowalks or even walkators. Walkators are continuous conveyor-like system that assist pedestrian movement. Commonly found in airports, transit hubs and large public complexes. Quickly we'll go through the components of walkators. Cover plate, fixed metal plate at the walkway landing, giving access to the internal machineries. Comb plates, toothed plate at the entry or exit that meshes with steps to ensure a smooth, safe transition. Steps or pallets. The moving flat surface, this area, the moving flat surface, which are made of either aluminum or steel, that passengers stand or walk on it. The width of the walkator ranges from 800 mm to 1200 mm based on the crowd density. The speed of the walkator ranges from 0.5 to 0.75. The upper cap is limited to 0.75. Walkator should not operate more than 0.75. The inclination, for horizontal inclination, the angle is 0 to 3 degrees. For inclined surfaces, it goes up to 12 degrees. Travel time. If a person walks on a travelators, the travel time can be found using this relation. That is T equal to L by VW plus VP. Whereas L is the length in meters, VW is walkway speed, walkway or travelator speed. VP is person's walking speed. So we'll quickly do a small workout. An airport has an 80-meter long walkator operating at a speed of 0.6 meter per second. A passenger walks at 1.2 meter per second relative to the walkway. Find the travel time with the walkway without it and the percentage time saved. We'll see. So the given is length 80 meter, VW 0.6 meter per second, VW is the walkator speed, person speed is 1.2 meter per second. The relation is T equal to L divided by VW plus VP. 80 divided by 0.6 plus 1.2 equal to 80 by 1.8, which is equal to 44.4 seconds. Without walkway, it is T equal to L divided by VW plus VP, which is equal to, without walkway we are calculating. So for VW I am putting 0 plus 1.2, which is equal to 80 by 1.2 equal to 66.7 seconds. So now calculate the question is find the percentage time saved. Okay. So the time saved equal to 66.7 minus 44.4, which is equal to 22.3, that is approximately 33.4 percentage faster. In this case, if we use walkator, the same person is going 33.4 percentage faster as compared to walking without a walkator. Now we'll see sky bridges. Sky bridges are the bridges that connects two vertical towers which are adjacent to each other to save the time and efficiency. These are structurally independent from both towers with slide bearing for movement. What is slide bearing? Slide bearing is a special support that allows the sky bridges to move slightly relative to the building it connects. The main purpose is building generally sway or expand or contract due to wind, temperature changes or seismic activity. If the bridges were rigidly fixed to both towers, these movements could cause high stress or damage to the main structure. That's the reason sky bridges are always fixed with special support components that are called slide bearings. Minimum width of the sky bridges can be of corridor standard. It is important to keep fire separation doors at both ends. This is mainly to avoid the spread of fire from one tower to another tower through the sky bridges during the time of emergency. That is the reason it is always essential to add fire separation doors at both ends of the sky bridge. Yeah, next we'll see staircase. We'll quickly do a recap as per NBC 2016. That is, minimum width for a residential building is 1 meter and it is 1.5 meter for public building. Riser for residential building should be less than or equal to 190 mm. For public building it is 150 mm. Thread depth should be greater than 250 mm. Headroom should be greater than 2.1 meter. Maximum vertical rise between landings should be 3.7 meters. So we'll quickly see the components of staircase. The overall distance of the staircase is called total run. The height of the staircase, that is from this surface to the top of the floor, is called total rise. This beam is called stringer beam. This beam, the bottom beam, is called stringer beam. A stair is a series of steps that connect different floor levels, made up of thread, that is the horizontal surface for stepping, and the riser, that is the vertical face. The step dimensions are expressed in unit rise and unit run, while the total height between the two floors is the total rise and the horizontal distance covered is called the total run. The supporting elements including the stringer on the sides. The stairwell is the total opening of the staircase. The stairwell is the total opening for the stairs. The adequate headroom is the clearance above for the safe movement. The step dimensions are expressed as unit rise and unit run. And now coming to the detail, as we already discussed, this vertical face is called the rise. This horizontal surface for stepping is called thread. This particular corner where we have the curved edge is called nosing. The end post is called newel. Small element on top of the newel is called newel cap. This is called handrail. The horizontal element for holding the hand is called handrail. The vertical elements, these vertical elements are called baluster. This vertical element to support handrail is called baluster. This sideboard is called skirt board. The sideboard to cover the stringer beam is called skirt board. And this total height is called total rise. This is called total run. This is the overall distance and this is the overall height from the floor to the top of the landing. From the floor to the top of the landing. Hope you are clear with the terminologies of staircase. It's just a quick recap. And we'll quickly see the types of staircase. By shape, it is straight flight, dog leg, open well, quarter turn. Yeah, quarter turn is 90 degrees. Half turn is U-shaped, which is similar to our open well. Half turn staircase is generally U-shaped with 180 degree turning. Quarter turn staircase, it is L-shaped. The flight of the stairs turns 90 degree at the landing, changing the direction left to right. Half turn staircase are U-shaped. The flight of stairs turn 180 degree at a landing, reversing the direction back. Spiral, helical, bifurcated. The spiral staircase wound around a center vertical column called newel post. Steps are wedge-shaped and radiating around the post. It is very compact and economical in space. Helical are similar, curved but without a central column. Steps follow a helix around an open well, creating a more elegant and spacious appearance. Bifurcated A grand stair that starts as a single wide flight then splits into two narrower flight at the landing. In short, spiral with center post, helical, freestanding, curved without post, bifurcated, splits into two flights. By function, it is divided into four types. One is fire escape, service, monumental, and domestic. Fire escape is an emergency staircase provided for quick evacuation during fire or disaster. Usually external to the building, made of non-combustible material such as steel or RCC. Designed with straight flights, proper with handrails and smoke-free enclosures if it is internal. Service staircase, a secondary staircase meant for staff, maintenance or service use. Example in hotels, hospitals or large offices. Usually tucked at the rear or side, less ornamental than the main stair. But for functional circulation, separate from public or guest use. Monumental staircase, it's mainly for showing the grandness of the building. Mostly the bifurcated or helical staircase will be used as monumental. By material, as we all know, RCC, steel, timber, glass or stone. Again simple formulas. Number of risers is given by NR. NR is equal to H by R, where H is the total floor to floor height. R is the riser height. So number of threads, if you want to find the number of threads for a straight flight staircase, then number of threads NT is equal to NR minus 1. Okay, we'll do a small simple workout. Here the given floor height is 3.3 meter. It is a public building with straight flight staircase. Now we'll calculate the length of the flight. NR equal to H by R, which is equal to 3300 mm divided by 150. This 150 is because it is given as public building. For public building, the minimum rise should be 150 mm. That's why we are taking 150 here, which gives us 22 rises. So number of threads needed. Number of threads needed is equal to NT equal to NR minus 1, which is equal to NR is 22 rises, which is equal to 22 minus 1, which is equal to 21 threads. Okay. And as since it is a public building, the minimum thread depth should be, assume thread of 300 mm. So the total length equal to 21 into 0.3 meter, which is equal to 6.3 meter per flight. The common mistake what students used to do is, when the floor height is 3.3 meter, students generally multiply this by 2. By multiplying this by 2, you will get answer 6.6 meter. Get the answer 6.6 meter. This is actually wrong because number of threads needed is NR minus 1. Number of threads will be always one number lesser than the number of rises. So 6.3 meter is the right answer. Okay. If we are working out the evacuation capacity, then it is given by the relation Q. Q is the evacuation capacity. Q equal to W into C, where W is stairs width, C is capacity in person per minute per meter width. When we talk about evacuation, then the capacity approximately becomes 45 persons per minute per meter. Now we will do a quick workout for staircase evacuation for the staircase width of 1.5 meter. Okay, so the total evacuation capacity per minute is 1.5, that is the width, into 45. Since it is evacuation, we are assuming the same number 45. So it gives around 67.5 persons per minute. So it clearly says if a staircase has a width of 1.5 meter, then the evacuation capacity per minute comes around 67.5 persons. Now we'll see ramps. As per NBC 16, the slope ratio is 1:12 for wheelchair users, and maximum we can go for 1:8 for short ramps. That is also for short ramps in non-accessible situations. Non-accessible situations means ramps provided only for general circulation or service movement, not intended for wheelchair access. Typically used for service trolleys, equipment movement, or in the space where universal accessibility isn't required. Ramp length is given by L equal to R into S, where L is the length of the ramp, R is the vertical rise, S is the slope factor. For example, for accessible ramps of rise 0.7 meter, slope 1:12, then length of the ramp is 0.75 into 12, which is equal to 9 meters. Lifts we'll see in the part 2.